when we have, our brain is looking to be right. And so when we have a situation where we do one thing that's stupid, it's like our brain say, I think I'm stupid. Wait, I just did something stupid. I agree with myself, I'm stupid, right? The premise of my book is that beliefs are choices. So we have a choice on what we believe about ourselves. And that's where I changed. I started seeing myself in a new way. To give you an example of like how beliefs are choices, it's May 6, 1954. Before May 6, 1954, it was believed that no one could ever run the 4-minute mile, that if you even tried, your heart would explode. On May 6, 1954, Roger Bannister broke the 4-minute mile at 3:59. He had chose to believe in a world where people didn't believe that it was possible. He chose to believe that it was. And he trained for it until he could beat it. And then he did. And since then, over 1,400 people have broken the 4-minute mile, only because now they had evidence that it could be done, and now they've chosen to train for it. And when you think about God, for example, in this physical world, I'm sure, people who are attuned with it, they see evidence, but at the same time, you have to have a level of faith there. And so we're choosing to believe in God. Some people choose to believe in that the earth is flat, even though there's no evidence of that at all, and we call them, flat earthers. Some people choose to believe in conspiracy theories, and we call them conspiracy theorists. So for me, beliefs are choices. And if that's the case, then what negative belief do we believe about ourselves that if we believe the opposite, we would be happier?
That's strong. That's strong. Is that a chapter in your book?
It's basically the premise of the book.
The whole thing?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's who we are, I feel like, is it's based on kind of 3 principles. Self-image, what we believe about ourselves, our relationships, the people we spend time with, and what I call our wealth. Our wealth is our career, our investments, and I describe investments as anything that makes us money outside our career or what we do most of the time for work, and our skill set. And so our self-image is kind of like what I described, relationships, people we spend time with. And so all 3 of these buckets are create who we are. And so if we dial in and we get intentional about these 3 areas of what we actually want in these 3 areas, we can create what I call is habitual happiness. Happiness, for me, most people think that you have to be rich, famous, or popular in order to be happy, and that's what they strive for. But if we all just took a step back and think about the times when we are the happiest. We're usually the happiest when we are doing what we love, when we are around people who make us feel loved, or the third one is when we are in love with who we are, right? Or in other words, when we love ourselves. So the first 2 create what I call conditional happiness. And basically it's happiness that's outside of our control. So sometimes we don't always get to do what we love. Sometimes we have to do stuff that suck. But that, sometimes it moves us forward, sometimes it doesn't. It just depends. We don't always get to spend time with people who make us feel loved. And even if we are with someone who make us feel, or that we love, they may be angry, or maybe we may be angry at them, and they may be upset, whatever the case may be. We're not feeling love in those moments. Now, we may know that they love us, but knowing love and feeling love are completely different. Knowing can be all the time. Feeling is a moment-to-moment basis. So those 2 areas create conditional happiness. Habitual happiness, which for me is being happy most of the time, including when we're alone or when we're doing some of the stuff that may suck. That comes when we're in love with who we are, or when we love ourselves. And so it's all about how do we love ourselves? Well, in order to love ourselves, we first have to be ourselves, because otherwise who are we loving? And in order to be ourselves, we must first know who we are. But in reality, it's more like we have to know who we want to be, because who we are right now is usually not aligned with who we want to be.